everyone, and welcome back to McCaig's Movie Mayhem. I am your host, Eli McCaig, and today I'm going to be doing the movie review for Wicked for Good.
Just look at me. Not with your eyes, with theirs.
I've heard it said.
Now, Wicked for Good is the second installment to the Wicked duology, which is, in and of itself, based off of the musical of the same name, and this movie is very much the second act of the musical. And I have to say, going into this, I was a little trepidatious because the second act of the musical isn't really my favorite act of the musical. I feel like Act 1 of the actual stage musical is a lot stronger, and Act 2 is a little bit weaker. So going in, I was a little trepidatious. However, with what the first movie was able to do, I was really looking forward to it. I was really hoping that a lot of the major griefs that I had with it would be, I wouldn't have to worry about it. However, I do have to say there were issues with the film. However, overall, I really did enjoy all the performances. I think Cynthia Erivo did amazing returning as Elphaba, and Ariana Grande continues to kill as Glinda. And I have to say, there are so many times watching this movie and then watching the first Wicked where I'm just thinking to myself, Ariana Grande, you should do more movies. You should do more acting. I love you as a singer, but your acting is amazing. I want to see you do that more. But I have to say, going into this film, I was hoping for a lot more, but very much the issues that I have with the initial second act were here. Like, one of the main things that I have issues with is this act is very much, hey, we're going to show you a little bit before Wizard of Oz, and then we're going to show Wizard of Oz through the Wicked Witch's point of view, or like the point of view that's not Dorothy and the gang. And for me, that's something that I personally am not fully interested in, and so seeing that sort of be told, I felt myself getting a little pulled out of it a little bit. But the music is still great. I still love a lot of the songs, like For Good, No Good Deed Goes Unpunished. Like, the big numbers of Act 2 really are the big numbers. But I do think one of the issues with the film is the pacing of the film. I think the film is really rapid. It goes by so fast. There's a lot of stuff that it's trying to tell you in such a short amount of time. And I just felt myself going, whoa, I feel like a lot's being thrown at me, but we're going very fast. And there were moments where I thought I was missing stuff, or that I would have liked a little extra depth. For example, the stuff with Nessa Rose and Bach, there's so much with them that I wish could have been explored a little bit more that aren't explored. And I feel like that's just something that could have been given a little extra depth. I think that was an issue with me as well in the stage show. I would have liked more depth with there. And I think, and people can correct me, I think either a year has passed or only a few months have passed between Act 1 and Act 2, or the first film and the second film. And I just feel like there's a lot that's happened between them that I feel like I wanted to know more about, but I really didn't get that because of getting into the story, and it was so rapid, so fast. And while I enjoyed seeing the perspective of the OG3 of Oz characters from the original Wizard of Oz story, while I liked seeing some of their perspectives, I did very much want more in general. Like, I think the thing with this movie is that it's still very much serving the second act of the musical. And again, I really think the second act of the musical is the weaker of the two acts. However, I think the thing that was done interesting in the film is that when you watch the first movie, or Act 1 of Wicked, that is very much Elphaba's story. This is Elphaba getting into her own, and then we're going to see Elphaba go do what she's going to do. Act 2 and Wicked for Good feels very much more like Glinda's story. And I liked getting more into the mind of Glinda. I think that's one of the reasons why I wish there was more for others, is because we got to know so much about Glinda that I wish we had more with the other characters. Elphaba, we already know what her deal is. We already know her perspective on things because we saw Wicked. We saw the first act of the show. And that very much tells her wants, her needs, and why she's doing what she's doing. this one very much gives us more backstory on Glinda and giving us more of an idea of where she's coming from and why she's doing what she's doing. And I really liked how when you put them together, it is not just the story of the Wicked Witch of the West. It is the story of Elphaba and Glinda. And I really like that that's the core of the story. And I do feel like that Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande do such a great job being the focal point of the story and very much being the anchors of the story. And I think they both did an amazing job. I just wish that there was more that could have been done. And I just think overall, there's more to this story, and I wish that we had more to it. And I think also it may have been better, or when the time comes and this movie comes out on DVD or digital or whatever you watch it, I think the story is going to be better when you put both of them together and you just do one big old watch along. That way you're not having to wait an entire year and you're just in it. And while I don't think this is as strong as the first Wicked, I do still think this is a very strong, very well done adaptation. However, I don't think it is as strong as the first one. So overall, I do recommend people still go watch this so you can hear the music, so you can still be dazzled by the visuals. I think John Chu still does a really great job directing and visually taking in the story. I still think he is one of the preeminent musical directors. So overall, I give this film a 3.5 out of 5 stars, a 7 out of 10. Next week, I'm going to be hopping into the animated realm with Disney Animation, for I'm going to be doing the movie review for Zootopia 2. But until then, I've been Eli McCaig, you've been the audience, and I hope you all remember to watch movies.